Okay, I think we are live. Let me make sure I'm sharing it everywhere, and then we're going to go ahead and hop right in. Happy Wednesday, everyone. This month is flying by. Just want to make sure that I'm sharing the live to where I need to share it to. Okay, I don't see it on my phone yet. Okay, give me a minute, you guys. I just want to make sure that I'm sharing it in the right places. It says I'm live, but I don't see it. Huh. I don't think this is up yet. Okay, here it is. Okay, let me make sure I share it. Okay, let me know if you guys can see me or not, because I think it's acting a little weird tonight. Okay, I see it now. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about leaning into your disadvantage. The title sounds a little weird, but basically what we're going to be talking about today, I'm going to be providing a different perspective as far as what it means to lean into your disadvantage. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So before I get started, I just want to introduce myself really quickly. My name is Phay Dee. I am the CEO and founder of the Black Women of Arizona group. We've been around since 2016. I'm actually going to be sharing a little bit more of how this platform got started later in this live tonight. But for those of you that I haven't met yet, or you're not sure who runs this platform, my name is Phay Dee. So we're gonna hop right into it. So, like I was saying before, tonight we're gonna be talking about leaning into your disadvantage. What does that actually mean? What does that look like? So let's go ahead and hop right in. So if you're tuning in, I do ask if you find this video helpful or valuable, be sure to tag someone or share it on your page for someone who might find this information helpful. Okay, so leaning into your disadvantage. So when we talk about disadvantage, there's a couple of definitions for the word disadvantage, right? So when we talk about disadvantage, what exactly is that? So basically, the definition of a disadvantage is an absence or deprivation of advantage or equality, or the state or instant of being in a unfavorable circumstance, right? So that's what disadvantage means in terms of the definition. We're going to actually break that down. And if you guys have any questions or any input you want to share while I'm on here, be sure to comment it in the section, in the comment section below. Okay, so when we talk about leaning into your disadvantage, one of the things, um, the first part of leaning into your disadvantage is owning it, right? Owning what your disadvantages are. What do you consider to be your disadvantage? Is it something that you went through in your childhood? Does it have something to do with trauma, your mental health, or your overall physical health, right? Or is it in regards to your career or your business or relationships, etc., right? We all technically have some sort of disadvantage, right? So think about what your actual disadvantages are. And the next thing is to think about how you grew through that process, right? Not just getting through it, but how did you grow from your disadvantage, whatever that might be, right? What was that process for you, right? What breakdown or transformation did you have to go through in order to overcome that disadvantage? The next thing is, how did you find your purpose or your passion from your disadvantage? A lot of times, um, when I hear people talk about their struggles with finding their purpose or their passion or something that they feel fulfilled in, a lot of times that comes from quote unquote a disadvantage, right? Maybe something that you went through, whether it was a good thing or a bad thing, maybe it was something that you went through. And because you went through that, that is how you were able to action, right? So I'm talking about what your disadvantages are, what process or what breakdown or transformation did you go through to grow through that that unfavorable circumstance, right? And then um, the next thing that I want you to consider when we're talking about finding your passion from your disadvantage, this is essentially how you're able to build up the people around you, right? Sometimes we want to speak on things, we want to talk about things that we necessarily have not gone through. When you're someone who has gone through something, there's a level of insight you can provide to someone going through the same thing because you've been where they're at, right? You understand the mindset that they're going through or the stage that they are in that process, right? You can't truly pour into people if you don't understand that process and that mindset, right? So that is part of owning your disadvantage. So to recap, what you consider to be your disadvantages, how did you grow from your disadvantage? How did you find your purpose or passion? And how are you able to pour into others that are going through a similar situation, right? The next thing is learning how to lean into your disadvantage, right? So that's essentially the title of this live tonight. But what does that actually look like? What does it mean to lean into your quote unquote disadvantage, right? So there's a couple of different aspects in regards to that. So one of the first thing is to stop running away from your purpose, right? A lot of us have been chosen, not called, but chosen for a specific journey, but we're still, for whatever reason, we're running away from it. We're turning away from it. We're we're still kind of thinking small. We want to kind of dim our light. We don't want to really stand in that space, right? So stop running away from your purpose. A lot of times we deem it as our disadvantages, really what holds our purpose, our passion, right? So stop running away from your purpose. Standing in the power of your truth, right? So be authentic. Don't try to conform to the box that other people try to put you in, right? One of the things that I can say that I've learned since running this platform is before I started this platform, I wasn't really aware of anyone in Arizona doing something similar to what I wanted to do, right? And so for me, I could have let what others around me or what I saw in society or just what I saw in my day to day living in Arizona deter me from starting this platform, right? Because essentially I could have conformed and just accepted things for what they are. And, everyone has a story about the culture in Arizona or whatever it might be. But I could have conformed to that, but instead I wanted to be my authentic self, right? I put stuff out there, I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. This is something that I see. Let's do it, right? Guys, if you can, I want to make sure my live is still going. Let me check. Okay. Okay. It's still going. Okay. So, being authentic, right? So standing in your power of your truth, even though as Black women, we all have similar experiences, we don't all have the same exact experience, right? So um, just because I wanted to start this platform in the way that I started it doesn't necessarily mean that someone else can't do the same thing, right? Some of the part of the struggle in owning your disadvantage is that we're paying attention too much to what's going on on the outside instead of just standing in who it is that we are as beings, right? So be authentic. Don't conform to the box people try to put you in. And then, of course, when we talk about the imposter is very real. So whatever process you have to go through, you have to, well, I don't want to say process, maybe like a breakdown or transformation that you have to go through to understand that you, in fact, are worthy, right? You, in fact, are enough. And that was something that I struggled with, that I still struggle with from time to time, but that was definitely something that I struggled more in the past than I do now. So what that looked like for me, I wasn't showing up in my power, right? So a lot of things that I did it in a lack mindset. I did it. I kind of wanted to downplay my role, right? I had issues with accepting help. I had issues with accepting compliments, right? So all of that comes in when we talk about imposter syndrome. That is a component as far as how to lean into your disadvantage. Because if you're someone that's scared to say, well, I'm here for anybody, I'm lonely. I was scared to put myself out there in that manner, this platform would not have been created, right? So that's what I mean when I talk about standing in your truth. That was my truth, right? So I stood in it. That's how I showed up, and that's essentially how I was able to curate the types of events and services and things that the platform offers, right? So the impact of not leaning into your disadvantage. So what does that look like if you're someone who's not leaning into your disadvantage? You're not operating in alignment, right? That's the first thing. And we talked about alignment on a previous live a couple weeks ago. If you haven't watched it yet, be sure to catch the replay on the Facebook page or on our YouTube channel. But when you're not leaning into your purpose, when you're not leaning into your passion, you're not operating in alignment, right? And so what happens when you're not operating in alignment is the fact that you're supposed to a lot of times before, we get so wrapped up in, what other people are doing, what are they going to say, what are they going to think about me, whatever the case might be. We get so wrapped up in that, not understanding that even if a million other people did what you were doing, they still wouldn't do it in your capacity, right? And there's still a lane for you to operate in, no matter how many people are doing it, right? So what happens when you're not in alignment, you're not leaning into basically your advantage. When you're not leaning into that, the people that you were chosen, you were called for, to the lives that you were supposed to be impacting, those people go unfulfilled because they're waiting for you to step into your power and your truth, and you're not doing that. And so um, therefore those people go unfulfilled. And that's what I was saying on the previous side. When you're not operating in alignment, about you, it's about the other people around you, the other lives that you don't impact because you're not standing in your power of your truth, right? And so and going into, not operating in alignment and not standing in your power of truth, a lot of times because we're running away from what we've been chosen to do, what we've been called to do, we're trying to do our own thing. And so sometimes you'll see that those plans fall through, right? You're struggling in different aspects of your life, whether it's in your business, in your career, in your friendships, in your romantic relationships, whatever it might be. When you were chosen, when you're called to a specific journey and you keep turning away from it, the universe is going to give you signs that you're not operating in alignment, right? And I don't want to go too much into alignment because we covered that in a previous live, but this is what I mean when I say you're not leaning into the gift that you have, right? So just uh, to your disadvantage, stop bringing your purpose, and stand in your power of truth, right? Whatever that might be, stand in it, own it, and show up as that girl, right? So okay, so we talked about leaning into your disadvantage. So the next section that I want to talk about is monetizing your disadvantage, right? If you're someone who wants to take your purpose into a paycheck or turn your passion into a paycheck, this section is going to be for you, right? Because whenever I talk about different things, I always try to tie it right back into business, or sometimes that's just how it turns out. So monetizing your disadvantage, right? So what are the pain points that you can speak to? Because again, you've been through this, right? You've gone through this, you have the experience, you understand the mindset and the process. So what are some pain points that you can speak to? When you're clear about what the that's essentially how you're able to uh, get your target audience, right? So basically, when we talk about target audience in the niche, the target audience is basically the room of people that you're speaking to. Your niche might be a smaller group within that room that speaks specifically to those pain points, right? So what are some pain points that you can speak to? What are some what kind of transformation or results can you provide, right? What is the guaranteed ROI? So again, if we're taking what we've been through and we're wanting to turn it into a business, right, or something that we can make money off of, first off, there's no reason to feel guilty for that. Number one. Number two, the ROI, sometimes when we talk about ROI, return on investment, we're only thinking about the financial piece of it. But sometimes the ROI might not be financial, right? Sometimes the ROI might be, right? Social. So for this, as an example, for the people that attend our events or excuse me, guys. Well, I'm going to use the event aspect as an example. So for the people that pay to attend our events, the ROI might not necessarily be financial, although it can be. But the ROI for someone attending an event might be them making a friend, right? Meeting someone they can build a business relationship, right? Meeting someone that they can sell their products or services to, right? Which can then translate to something financial, but the return on investment doesn't always have to be financial. So using like my consulting business as an example, for the business owners that I work with, the ROI, there's a financial aspect in the ROI, but then there's also the mental aspect of the ROI, right? When we sit down and we go through the program, being able to make that money in this program. Another ROI for them might be more clarity in their business, right? It might be that they're able to manage their time better. It might be that they're able to invest into their own mental health because they have the time in order to do that. They're able to spend more time with their family and friends. They're able to travel more. So if you're someone who wants to turn your disadvantage into basically a paycheck or monetizing it in any way, those are the things that you want to think about, right? So what are the pain points that you can speak to? What kind of transformational results can you provide? And what is a guaranteed ROI? Now, there are going to be instances where you might not be able to guarantee a financial ROI, but the transformation that you can provide in your business for that specific client might be enough ROI for them to your right. Talk about monetizing. So that section that I want to talk about is how I leaned into my disadvantage, right? And I'm going to use the BWA platform as an example. So so going back to the first step that we talked about, what were my disadvantages, right? My disadvantages were that I was a Florida native, right? I wasn't born and raised in Arizona. I'm from Florida, right? I moved to Arizona without any family or friends, and I was accustomed to a different culture, right? I'm from Florida. We have that Southern hospitality. We're from the South, right? But then also on top of that, I'm also Haitian. So we also have the Caribbean aspect of it, right? So it was a different culture moving to the other side of the country without any friends, without any family, and then getting more accustomed to the culture. Now, I connected in similar situations who shared the same goal as me, right? Because my disadvantage is I'm not from Arizona. I don't know anybody here. I want to connect with other women. Who else could be going through that? Who else could be going through that same process, right? And so because I leaned into it, I was able to connect with women who shared a similar struggle as me, people who are moving here from different states who didn't have any friends here and wanted to find other people that looked like them, other people that shared similar hobbies, right? They wanted to find their tribe. I wanted to find my tribe, right? And so we were able to connect because of that, right? And so the next portion of it is how I was able to monetize my disadvantage, right? So after the platform began to grow, I was able to host paid events, right? I was able to offer mental health support group. So I took something that I basically took an unfavorable situation and made it work in my favor, right? And so that's how I was able to monetize my disadvantage, right? How was I able to impact the people around me, right? Because again, we're talking about being chosen for a specific journey and having a group of people that are waiting for us to get in alignment with that specific journey, with that specific decision, right? So, how that translated for me after I leaned into my disadvantage, I was able to provide a safe space for people, for Black women to connect, right? I was able to do my part to change or shift the narrative, right? Because we've all heard the narrative like Black people in Arizona don't talk to each other, they're not friendly, and blah, blah, blah. So we've all heard those things before. I've been able to host events where women can come into a room with other groups, with a whole group of women that they probably have never met in their whole lives, right? And still be able to connect, still be able to have a good time, and change that narrative. Oh, Black women aren't friendly, we can't come together, it's always drama, it's always this, it's always that, right? I have been doing my part to change that narrative. Hi, Ollie, thank you for joining me. Hi. And so I was able to also put other women in the position to prosper, right? Whether it was uh, uh, buying a product from someone else, right? Or paying for a service from someone else in my community, right? Or even giving other business owners the opportunity to put their business on the platform, whether it was as a event speaker, as a vendor, my our email list. I was able to put other women in the position to level up, right? Because that's essentially what, when we talk about sisterhood and things like that, it's about supporting one another, right? And so because I was able to lean into my disadvantage, that is what I was able to help other women do, right? And because I was able to help them through that, now they're able to pour into someone else, right? It's a domino effect, right? So because I was able to pour into them at some capacity, they're able to pour into someone else, right? Because they were able to be a speaker at one of my events. Now they're more comfortable with speaking on stages, right? They can go to bigger stages now, right? Or they were able to get their business off the ground because they were able to connect with people that align with the products or the services that they were offering, right? Or even tons of conversations with women across the platform that have said, oh, I love what you're doing, and I'm going to get started on this, or because I came to this event and the speaker poured into me at this capacity, it's given me the confidence, or it's given me that push to move forward in something that I said I wanted to do, right? And so that is what I mean when I talk about leaning into your disadvantage and the impact that you can have when you do so. A lot of times like I said before, a lot of times we're trying to run away from it, and we think it's something we need to be ashamed of, and it's something that we can't talk about. But whatever we're going through, someone has gone through something similar, right? And so sometimes they need a person like you to come in and be like, hey, I was there too, right? I've been through this too, right? And this is how I was able to get through it, right? Because that can be what inspires that other person to keep going, right? Or you can be the person that provides for the insight. You bless me, and I still owe you flowers. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So that's just a little backstory about just this platform alone, right? And so learn how to lean into your disadvantage. It's really not a disadvantage, but sometimes it's all about how we look at it, right? So we're almost wrapping up. If you guys have any questions or anything you want to share, feel free to put them in the comment section below. The replay will be up as soon as I end it. It'll probably be up in a few minutes. But a disadvantage is only a disadvantage if you look at it that way, right? It's all about perspective, because I could have been someone who was like, oh no, I'm here by myself, and this is, why do I have to be here in a new state by myself without any family, without any friends, or whatever the case might be. But instead of looking at it from that perspective, I'm like, okay, I am here now, right? And I don't have, what can I do to change that? So it's all about your perspective. So this might be, not everyone is going to receive this message that I'm giving tonight, because it's how do I put this? Not everyone is going to be receptive to the message that I have tonight, because in order for people to understand that a disadvantage isn't an actual disadvantage, they have to be at a level of perception. They have to be at a level of comprehension in order to understand that there's a different perspective, right? And so, just like I said before, disadvantage is only a disadvantage if you look at it that way. One of the biggest disadvantages that I had with being someone who moved from Florida to Arizona without any friends, without any family, getting accustomed to the culture and the weather and everything else, that was my biggest disadvantage at that moment in my life, right? That disadvantage is blessed me in ways I can't even begin to tell you guys, because I leaned into it. And so sometimes you, like I was saying, you're running away from it. You don't want to be that person, and you're worried about what other people are going to say and da 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 da. But this is what you were called to. This is you're the person that was chosen for this specific path, right? Okay, so that is it for me, you guys. So I wanted to give you a different perspective of how to look at things, because I'm on social media. I'm active in the group, even if I don't always comment on every post. I'm observing, and I'm looking at the conversations that we're having between each other. So I just wanted to come on here tonight and encourage you, not only to encourage you, but give you some tangible tips that you can walk away with to start implementing. And if you're someone who's kind of on the fence, like, should I take this next step? Should I do this? Should I do that? And you're struggling with a disadvantage you think that you have, I'm going to look at it, right? There is another way. There's a different. It doesn't have to, a disadvantage doesn't have to be a disadvantage if you don't look at it that way. Making waves in the desert like me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ali. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Everyone is not a believer, right? Absolutely. And so that's why I said not everyone is going to receive this message that I have tonight. And that's okay, right? It might not be for them, and that's okay. But there's someone who needed this message on tonight. So that's why I wanted to come on here and share this information with you guys. So leaning into your disadvantage, whatever it might be, I challenge you to look at it from a different perspective. Okay. And so that is it for me, you guys, for tonight. We have 2 events coming up. I have a third one I'm going to be launching soon for 2023. So how many days do we have? Because I know today is the 12th. So we have 7. Okay. So days, we're going to post our 7th annual great. That's on Saturday, October 22nd, going to be in Phoenix. I'm going to be posting the link to purchase your tickets. We have a few left. So when they run out, or if we get to Saturday, whatever comes first, that'll be it. We would not be selling tickets at the door. If you've been on the fence about attending this event, you need to make a decision, right? You're either coming or you're not, because the tickets are almost out. So we have that happening in 10 days on October 22nd. On November 11th, we have our private screening for Wakanda Forever. That's going to be in Tempe. Every time I come in here, I tell you guys that the tickets are going. That's all I can say. If you wait, you might miss out, right? So that's happening on November 11th. If you are a business owner and you're interested in sharing your business with our platform, we do have a couple of options on how you can do that. So, of course, we have the Facebook group, but then you have the business corner if you want to share your business to our email subscribers. And then we also have Black Business Highlights. It's going to be a live stream with me and you basically talking about your business, right? We actually have one scheduled for, I think, Monday afternoon. So be sure to tune in for that. I'm going to be launching the mental health support group again. I've had a couple people reach out, a few people actually reach out to me as far asking when that's coming back. I am in the process of working that out, working the details out right now. It was something that we did last year. I got really good feedback from it, and I kind of put it on the back burner, but I'm seeing that you guys need this service again. So I will be launching that program again really soon. But that is it for me, you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you came in midway through, the live will be up for the replay. You can also catch it on our YouTube channel. It's only this event if you look at it. Okay, so I challenge you to change your perspective, change your mindset. Ali said pivot. Do that. Okay, pivot. If that's what it takes for you to own your being, right? If that's what it takes to stand in your power of truth, then do it. So thank you guys for coming on. I will be back again next Wednesday. BWA is actually 7 years old now. Before I go, I wanted to say that I've been doing this for 7 years, right? As of September, as of September of this year. So we are 7 years old. So I think the next time I'm going to be talking about all of the things that I've learned within the last 7 years since running this platform. I'll be posting that information later on. But thank you guys for coming on. Have a good night, and I will see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.